It's a new year, a new season, and we are underway.
Really dominating fashion here today is going to win.
2, 3, 4 for the final time.
Win number 1 on the season, only just barely.
He is going to win here at the Nazareth Speedway.
Wins the Emerson Electric 100K.
Gonna be Igor Barretto's gonna eke it out.
Cup Series champion is Shane Lake in the number 15.
Welcome to the NOFSRL.
We're halfway through the regular season in the NOFSRL Cup Series season number 10, and now the race to the chase is on. And we come to my home racetrack in the first state of the United States of America. We are here at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware for the Mr. Goodbar 400 in season number 10 of the NOFSRL Cup Series presented by Hers. Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 13 in season number 10 of the NOFSRL Cup Series. We are here at the Dover International Speedway, the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware, our home racetrack, and I say our home racetrack because alongside me is Chase Harris. Great to have you alongside once again, but Dover, you know, in real life it could be a little bit boring at times, but with the tire compound that we have, the lower grip that we have on this racetrack compared to how it is in real life, these guys slide up a little bit more and create some interesting racing. How do you think that's going to affect the outcome of this race, knowing that these guys go a little bit slower than they do in real life?
Well, as you just said, it's gonna affect it a lot. But what you really have to watch out for is, of course, as you said, these cars are going to slide coming off the corners. And if you're not careful and you're not quite clear, you could end up hooking somebody. So you really have to be careful coming off these corners. That's going to be a big key today. Just try not to be over-aggressive coming out of the corners.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to essentially tiptoe around this place. Even though it's a high-speed racetrack, it's made out of concrete, and if you make one little mistake, into the wall you go. You definitely have to be careful. Of course, all the AI kind of know what they're doing in terms of that, but hey, we saw a lot of wrecks in this race last year, especially when Eli Bright had his moment coming down the pit lane in last year's event. Shane Lake won this race last year. He went on to win the championship. Nathan Baird won this race in 2019, went on to win the championship. We'll have to see if that trend continues. Another interesting trend as well, the past 2 seasons, the champion has also won the first Atlanta race, and the guy who starts second won Atlanta this season, Ace Garcia. So will that streak continue? Atlanta, Dover in the championship. We're just going to have to find out and see. It's going to be a fun race here today at the Mr. Goodbar 400. This is how they line up in the point standings. Coming into this, the 13th race of the season. Keegan Thompson's still the points leader. He starts 4th here today. 368 points towards the championship for him. Sebastian Coulon starts right behind him. He's 21 points behind. LJ Semedo 22 points behind. Logan Williams 23 points behind. And Jesse Turner having a solid season there for Outer Island Motorsports. 51 points behind coming into today's event. We're going to go ahead and get these guys to roll off here from the Dover International Speedway. And for the 3rd time this season, Tristan Allen's going to lead us to the green flag in the number 95. He's won a lot of poles in this series, but he's never won a race. We'll have to see if today might finally be the day. He's alongside Ace Garcia, who won Atlanta earlier this season, looking to become the first driver to win multiple races this season. But this guy is looking to do the same as well. Ben Young to the inside of Keegan Thompson, our points leader. You got Brandon Nelson, who's had a tough season in his rookie campaign, looking to get something to work here to the inside of Sebastian Kukulon, our last winner. Brett Sierra and Andrew Miller, who I am currently going to this racetrack with, as of the time if you guys see him this on the premiere. And then Daniel McMillan and Jesse Turner, Outer Island teammates there in row number 5. Chase, who do you think is going to go to victory lane here today in the Mr. Goodbar 400?
Well, I think you really got to look at somebody up front, and I'm looking at number 5, Ben Young. I think he's in a good spot starting 3rd. That bottom line is going to be crucial today, and I think Ben Young is going to go to victory lane.
We're going to have to see what the Homestead winner can do here today. His teammate is going to lead us to the green flag, however. We're going to have to see how this number 95 can do with Ace Garcia starting alongside. Should be a fun one here today. We could see our 13th different winner of the season. The pace car is down. Let's get rolling in the first state of the United States of America. We're green flag racing at the Monster Mile. Oh, and already in the back. LJ Cemeto's around, and it's a clog down the backstretch. Joey Hightower, BB Ruiz went around, and some other guys with some damage as well. And I think it was Hightower who got a little bit out of shape there. Brock Nelson in the 51, Samit Ozkin, Christopher Alphaby, Jordan Lopez went around farther up through the field, and Nelson Reeves in the 05. Some damage on Eli Bright. This place has not been kind to that gentleman right there. And already our first caution of the day here at the Monster Mile, and they just got a little bit out of hand there off of turn number 2.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't like being like one of those guys that says like it's a typical situation, but here at Dover, seeing stack-ups like that, that's a typical situation here. I mean, it's so hard to get past crashes, and that's why you saw pretty much everybody behind that get involved, because this track is just so tight down the straightaways.
Yeah, it's called the Monster Mile for a reason. Miles the Monster woke up feeling kind of hungry today. Well, thankfully it does give us an opportunity to get a single file restart. We don't do double file restarts in this series, and I'm glad we don't. But nobody coming down the pit lane. It's still way too early for that. It's gonna more than likely be a one-stop race, especially if we get a long green flag run here today. And I think it's about a 45-lap fuel run for these guys here at the Dover International Speedway. We'll be past halfway, so hopefully it'll be a one-stop race. But either way, let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution of the day. Bit of a jam up in the back of the field here at the Dover International Speedway. Well, you're going to see right here, 3 wide off of turn number 2, Joey Hightower. Uh-oh, he's doing it again. Got up in the Andrew Miller, and all these guys, you know, they're bunched up from the start. Haven't spread out that much. LJ Cemeto getting caught up. You're going to notice throughout this race... No, never mind. I'm not going to mention that now. But keep in mind, of course, we do record these accidents after we record the race. So, might be why you don't mention these wrecks during the race. Just keep that in mind. But either way, LJ Cemeto, Owen Miles in the inside wall hard. Thomas Troxel in the Joey Hightower as well. Not much of a stack-up, really. That was essentially it. Miles got some damage there. Eli Bright got some damage, but for the most part, most of these guys avoided it. Back in there, they jammed up. Alphaby, Brock Nelson, Samit Ozkin, right in the Joey Hightower. But then, this is where things get a little bit interesting, because you have Jordan Lopez and Nelson Reeves, and, yeah, I don't know what you want to call that. But hard in the outside wall goes Lopez and Reeves as they were on the apron trying to avoid the accident. They came and slid up. And then you're going to have one of these guys, I think it was Brock, actually it might have been Alphaby. One of the Angel Racing cars comes in on, it wasn't Alphaby, it was in fact Brock Nelson. Yep, right here, right in the Lopez, and Lopez goes upside down. And that's not good for Lopez in terms of the wild card, because he's one of those guys with the race victory that's, you know, trying to get into that wild card position, get into the chase, and this is going to put him back in points a little bit. Tough break there for the Popeyes machine of Jordan Lopez. Going to be the end of his day, no doubt about it, after that one.
So you can see, as they come down, Hightower just comes up in Andrew Miller, and I mean, at this point, it's just a Dover stack-up, you know. I mean, we've seen this time and time again, and thankfully not too much damage for these guys. Quite a bit of damage for 71 there, but right here, just pretty violent wreck right here, man. First off, a hard hit right there by the 28 Jordan Lopez, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, driver's side flipped upside down and takes a tumble. So, wild ride for Lopez and big stack up, but hopefully we don't see that, or hopefully we don't have to see that in the rest of this event.
You know, hopefully we have a nice clean race after this. That was the first lap of the event. That's not a good sign. But either way, we do get a single file restart here. Tristan Allen, your race leader, with Ace Garcia, Ben Young right behind him. We'll see what he does on the restart here at Dover. We're back here at the Dover International Speedway, and Miles the Monster, hopefully he's full after that. We had a bit of a stack up there at the back of the field. Brock Nelson going to be out of the race, and I think Jordan Lopez as well. Along with Nelson Reeves. Samit Ozkin and Christopher Alphaby both still out there, a lap down. Everybody else still on the lead laps. Even though it was a bit of a large wreck, nothing too major. We obviously saw a lot worse at Talladega. Tristan Allen continues to lead in the number 95. Then Ace Garcia, Ben Young, Keegan Thompson, Brett Sierra, Brandon Nelson, Daniel McMillan, Sebastian Hukalon, Mason Brown, and Andrew Miller, the top 10. We really haven't even started this race yet, but we're back underway here. Lap 6 of 80 at Dover. Pace cars down the pit lane, and let's get this thing rolling once again. Here's Brandon Nelson to the inside of Brett Sierra. Here comes McMillan in the 79 as well, and that outside lane is not going to work this early on in the race.
Yeah, not a good move by Brett Sierra, but I'll tell you who did get a good restart, and that was the leader, the 95, Tristan Allen. But, 81, Ace Garcia just closed right back up on himself.
And he's going to dive right to the inside. This would be amazing. I think it's amazing enough in its own right if, you know, we have for the third straight season the same driver win Atlanta and Dover. But if Ace Garcia does happen to win this race, what if he wins the championship? It's just the magic formula. Win Atlanta, win Dover, and you win the championship. Allen's holding tough on that outside lane, though. That 95, it's still early on in this run, and those tires are still fresh, but he's not going to be able to hold on. And Keegan Thompson now, looking for his first career win in this series as well. He comes into this race the points leader, going to take second away. But Ace Garcia, your new race leader here in the Mr. Goodbar 400. The top three are all on each other here at Dover.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say the draft is strong here, but I almost feel like Keegan Thompson kind of helped out Ace Garcia getting clear of Tristan Allen there in 1 and 2. And you see Allen trying to take a second back here from Keegan Thompson. But I expect to see battles up front all day because these cars are really stacked up, as you can see, throughout the top 10. I expect to see some side-by-side throughout most of the day, just maybe not, like, through every position.
Well, if they continue to go side-by-side for a second, Ace Garcia is just going to drive away with this thing. Still very early on in this race, only lap 10 of 80 here at Dover. Brandon Nelson, great to see him have a good run. Obviously, got caught a lap down at Darlington last weekend and fell deep in the points again. He has not been able to get outside of the top 35 in points, unfortunately. But Brandon Nelson doing a good job here, up the third now. Here comes Daniel McMillan in the 79, in the Hers machine, in Hers' backyard, essentially. As backyard as it gets for her. Stapleton had to come down the pit lane, and Downey's down the pit lane. We had a few guys coming down the pit lane. That's interesting. Some pit strategy going on here. That is very early on. They're going to have to make another stop in this race, so I don't know what the strategy is for that. But I'm wondering if they are thinking, what if a caution comes out during the pit cycle? If it stays green and we have a green flag green flag pit cycle, what if the green flag, what if the yellow flag, I should say, comes out during that cycle? They might be trying to gain an advantage on those guys by doing that. But they're all going to go a lap down. I'm not entirely sure who all came down the pit lane. Top three have pulled away, though. Garcia's got a 1.5 second lead on Ben Young. Tristan Allen's been able to pull away, but Thomas Trossel came off the pit lane. He's stacking these guys up. There goes Keegan Thompson to the inside. And then now you got McMillan and Turner now closing in here on Brett Sierra. Kukulon and Andrew Miller fell back. Brandon Nelson really got messed up after all that. He's fallen all the way back to, I believe now, the 11th position. And he's continuing to fall back on that outside lane. But a few guys came down there. They're 2 laps down. Ryan Durrani, Thomas Troxel, Gatlin Downey, Nathan Stapleton, and LJ Cemento all came down the pit lane. Very interesting strategy out of those guys. Green flag pit stops here at Dover. Now, if this thing stays green, they may be able to get something to work with that, but they're going to need a caution at the perfect time in order for that strategy to work. There's a little bit of damage there on Durrani, so I'm not sure if there was something that happened and they needed to come down the pit lane or what, but very, very interesting to see all that transpire right there. But Ace Garcia, 1.5 second lead here at Dover, and all those guys coming off the pit lane helped them get that 1.5 second lead, but Ben Young trying to close back in here. Have to see if he can get around Ryan Durrani at any time soon.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, regarding to those cars that were pitting earlier, I mean, I almost wonder if there was some sort of stack up in the back. Maybe they got in the wall. You know, something like that could have happened. Again, because most of those cars weren't, like, really up front. So it almost makes you wonder if, you know, something, like, transpired between cars further back. Maybe they got in the wall or something happened.
It is possible something like that did occur. And we'll say, and I'm assuming they took tires on their pit stops. Eventually, these guys will have an advantage on the guys they're racing with. You got Thomas Troxel running the back bumper of Keegan Thompson here. And eventually, Troxel's tires are going to be at more of an advantage than Thompson's. They're still going pretty fast here, though. We've had about 12, 13 laps under green, so it's not been that long for these guys. But eventually, the tire wear is going to come into play. And you actually can see here, Ryan Durrani closing in here on Ace Garcia. And he could very soon move to the inside and take this, well, he's not going to take the lead away, but take the position away and get one of his laps back here at Dover. And that could open the door for Ben Young and Tristan Allen to close back in on Ace Garcia if Garcia gets stuck in that outside lane, which it looks like it's very, very possible that that could happen. But Troxel also has that same strategy, and he's yet to get around Keegan Thompson. And you got McMillan, Brett Sear, and Jesse Turner all in a line there. Downey's 2 laps down after he came down the pit lane. Brad Stover is 8th. Mason Brown and Ethan Lewis, the top 10 right now. Nathan Baird looking for his second straight top 10 after he didn't even get a top 10 in the first 11 races of this season. He won this race 2 years ago, driving for King Hart Family Racing. He's now inside the top 10 for Velocitar Racing. But back up front, ooh, this could be it right here. Durrani may try to make the move. Nope. Gonna stay behind him. Stay patient. But Ben Young, Tristan Allen, teammates of Father Free Motorsports, they're not backing down.
Oh, no. I mean, you're not going to see Tristan Allen or Ben Young back down, I'll tell you that. But I think Durrani is content with staying behind Ace Garcia right now because they both know that Durrani has to pit one more time and Ace Garcia has to pit as well. So I think they're just content riding here. As I say, they'll probably make a move or something, but...
he is really all over the back over this 81 here. See if, you know, Troxel's yet to do the same thing either. He's kind of stayed right behind Thompson there, so kind of spread the field out, but it's going to be interesting once we get that cycle of pit stops. If it's green, that's really going to make things interesting. Obviously, last year we had that big caution during that cycle, and that really messed things up for a lot of guys, and that was a very unique race, a very unique situation when Ace Garcia came down, or should I say, Eli Bright came down and cleared the field. Eli Bright's Ryan Durrani's teammate, so that team knows very well what it's like to make a move like that. But Durrani seems to be content right behind the 81, like you said. And these guys kind of just riding it out until that cycle of pit stops. Brett Sear has fallen back a little bit. Now Brad Stover around him for the 7th position. I don't know where that number came from. Nathan Baird got around the 25 of Alexander Rowe. Alexander Rowe, who won this race in Season 6, currently in the 10th position. And Nathan Baird moving through the field. A solid run for that 54 machine so far. Go back to the race lead. And Durrani's right on the back bumper again. Doesn't have the run. I think it's a little bit easier to get a run off of Turn 4 than it is off of Turn 2 for some reason. It's just what it seems to be here at the Dover International Speedway. And I think right here, Durrani may have a shot. Possibly diving down to the inside. Not going to do it.
Nope. I don't see Durrani making that move. I mean, it's possible, but I just don't see the purpose and how it would help. Because I'm pretty sure Ryan Durrani is already multiple laps down. I don't think it would really, like, help him in any way. But, I mean, I guess getting 1 lap back would be cool. But I just don't think right now he has that mindset. Just right behind Ace Garcia. Let his strategy unfold.
He's peeking his nose there. I mean, at some point, that 68 will be going faster than the 81 because of the tire wear. But Troxel, you know, it's interesting because we got 2 instances where this is going on here. Now, here we go. Downey just got around Turner. It's one of those guys who came down the pit lane. He just got around Turner there, and he's going to have his eyes set on McMillan. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Ben Young has not really fallen off too much. Still 1.5 seconds behind our race leader, so it's not like Ace Garcia is gaining anything by keeping that 68 behind him, but he's not really losing anything either. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all transpires. And there goes Troxel. Troxel finally with a run on Thompson. That could open the door for McMillan to get to that 82 machine. That is for the 4th position. And I would imagine here soon that Durrani's going to try to make the move on a race leader.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's probably what Durrani's about to do. He's probably going to follow in Downey and Troxel's steps and make his move on Ace Garcia here. But, you know, he just hasn't had really hasn't had the run yet that he need, but he can get it right here. Oh, he's right there. I mean, Durrani's had multiple opportunities and just hasn't taken them. Looks inside there, not enough, but I mean, we'll see. Oh, Garcia messed up that corner a little bit. So Ace Garcia has to be careful here. You don't want to pull too tight of a block on Durrani and wreck yourself. So
no, not at all. Could be interesting to see how that all goes down. But look at the gap now that Troxel has on Thompson. And hey, how about this? McMillan and Turner putting it back on Downey. But that 40 does have fresher tires, and he may be able to get that outside lane to work. But these Outer Island guys doing a good job right now. Brett Sierra has held off the 54 right now. Now that the tire wear has really come into play, these guys have kind of solidified in their respective positions. And you can see right there, Downey has the advantage there on McMillan and Turner on that outside lane. And those guys, those fresher tires are really coming into play now. But I'm really intrigued that Durrani has not been able to get around Ace Garcia yet. But here we go.
Oh, here it is.
And I think Garcia might have let him do that. Garcia kind of moved up the racetrack right there. So Durrani will get one of his laps back. I don't think that's going to hurt Garcia too much, but he is going to lose some time to Ben Young right here. That number 5 is definitely going to close in a little bit. We'll see what the gap is this time around. It was 1.52 the last time. This time around, 1.31. So he lost about 2/10, but now he's back in line. And good job there out of Ace Garcia, letting him by at the perfect time, I think. So now he really doesn't have to contend with Durrani at this point. And those top 3 are kind of on each other within 2 seconds. The rest of the field, they're going to have to pull some sort of strategy if they're going to have a shot at this race. If this race stays green, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now Ace Garcia definitely has got to beat. But, again, pit strategy is so key here, especially, you know, you don't see many cautions at this track. So whoever has the best pit strategy probably end up winning. So we'll have to see how it plays out for these top 5 cars, I'd say, maybe 6. But I feel like it's going to be one of those, probably the top 3 going to victory lane, I'd say. But we'll have to see on pit strategy. Anything can happen.
Thomas Troxel. Now Gatlin Downey getting around Keegan Thompson right there. They're obviously much faster than these guys who have yet to come down for a pit stop in this race, and you're definitely noticing that difference now. Joey Hightower was involved in that accident. He's going to get in the way of our race leader here. We'll have to see if that affects him. Troxel on Tristan Allen right here. And we'll have to see what Allen can do to avoid losing a majority of his time to the race leader. Thomas Troxel 2 laps down right now. Durrani only 1 lap down, and he's getting around a couple of these other guys here. Been an interesting race so far. Last guy on the lead lap is Joey Hightower, right in front of our race leader, and Ace Garcia is going to close up to him here soon. We'll have to see if he holds him up a little bit, but it doesn't look like Hightower's that much off the pace, and we saw with Durrani. Durrani was clearly faster than Ace Garcia there. That 81 was holding up that 68 quite a bit as we got pit stops. Uh-oh. You know what? This could be a 2-stop race for everybody. Ben Young and Tristan Allen undercutting here. McMillan coming down as well. And if that's the case, they also had some caution laps there. That means that this is going to be a 2-stop race for these guys. So Ace Garcia kind of peeking down. Garcia's going to come down right here. We're well before halfway. So with that in mind, that might be the strategy that Troxel and all those guys are trying to play. So my apologies. The fuel window, not exactly what we expected. There goes Keegan Thompson. He's going to lead a lap right there. Still a lot of guys who have yet to make a stop, but I do not see anybody who's going to be able to stretch it on 1 if they're coming down right here. And imagine Thompson, Turner, they're going to come down this time by.
Yep, he's slowing up.
If the fuel is about to end right here, there's no way they're going to be able to make it. And that is in fact the case. Both of these guys, Stapleton and Semedo, have already come down the pit lane. So now those guys are going to cycle in with the rest of the field. There goes Ben Young in the 5. He's off the pit lane. Same with Tristan Allen. And here's Durrani, and I think he's merging right with these guys at this point. He's right behind Allen and Young. Rest of these guys coming off the pit lane right here. That was the second set of guys who came down. There's Ace Garcia, and that undercut is going to cost him the race lead. Ben Young, once this whole thing cycles through, is going to take it away. However, if this thing stays green, we're going to have a cycle of pit stops right at the end of this race. So this is really going to be interesting because in that situation, all you do is come and take fuel. You don't take tires in that situation. At least you don't think you do. Even though you lose 2 seconds a lap, on worn tires. I don't know. It's going to be unique to see how it all pans out here at Dover. We got ourselves a very unique race unfolding here in the Mr. Goodbar 400. Ben Young, we should cycle right here, and it does. Halfway here at Dover in the 13th race of the season.
Yeah, and back to the pit strategy at the end of the race. You did say tires, of course. You're probably not going to take them, but I wonder how many people might take two. You know, because if you take two tires, you know, you're still going to have that left or right side, whichever side you pick. Probably, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not great with my tires, but
yeah, I'm not either.
But if you take two, I mean, you'll at least, you won't be losing like as much ground as you would if you don't take tires at all. So I wonder if you're going to see some guys take two and some guys take none, because it's kind of obvious nobody's going to take four, but
look at this.
Take two.
And look at that! Well, I think we got to. I don't know. I think Cemento has a tire going down. Cemento has some sort of an issue. That held up Ben Young. Now Garcia is stuck behind the 66. I don't know if Cemento's going to be able to peek down to the pit lane or not. Oh boy. That really jammed it up. I think that 66 might be down a cylinder. Garcia and Tristan Allen will get around him.
Oh, he's definitely got problems.
But now you got Stapleton and Alphabee. Oh, you know what? No, he's not down a cylinder. He's on worn tires. These guys are on worn tires right now. Stapleton, they've been out there for so long. And like I said, the differential's about 2 seconds a lap. And you're seeing that right there. Ben Young got stuck behind those guys who were grouped up, who had already come down the pit lane well before they did. And their tires were about 30 laps older. And now Garcia and Tristan Allen have lost a ton of ground to our race leader, Ben Young. They're about 3.5 seconds off now. McMillan's got a bit of damage in the 79, but he's actually been able to close in a little bit, getting around those guys. And these guys are definitely going to have to come down the pit lane soon, because they are moving roadblocks here on this racetrack. No doubt about it. We'll see where McMillan falls in play here. He lost about a second there trying to get around those guys, too. And now, Ben Young got in the Troxel! Our race leader! No. He keeps it going straight, but now here comes Ace Garcia in the 81, and that is exactly what Garcia wanted. And look at that lead diminish just like that. Oh, brother. Wow. That was a near disaster for Ben Young. He holds on to the race lead. But that's definitely something you got to watch out for at the end of this race, too, because those guys are on a completely separate strategy, and they're going so much slower because of the tire where they're going to have to come down here soon. McMillan has nowhere to go. He's stuck behind the 53. He's going to lose a lot of time. Back to the race lead. Ben Young is under fire from Ace Garcia.
Man, that was 2 near cautions in about 5 laps.
Oh, and now Durrani coming in play here. He's another guy who was on that strategy. He's going to hold both Ben Young and Ace Garcia up. They should be able to get around him down the backstretch. Oh, Garcia going to take the advantage to the inside. He's going to get into Durrani, and he's going to take the race lead away. Oh, brother. That was unique. Eli Bright, I think he's a lap down. Oh, but he's going to get held up by his teammate right there, and Durrani's finally going to come down the pit lane. But Ace Garcia's taking the lead back, and he can thank Thomas Troxel for that one. Ben Young is not going to be happy with Troxel at the end of this race. He's not going to be happy with any of those cars who are on the worn tires. I mean, it's just the way it is. That's just simply how much time you lose on worn tires. But my goodness, that affected the outcome of this race, I believe. 30 laps to go here in the Mr. Goodbar 400, and Ace Garcia back out front at Dover.
My gosh. This is getting wild now, man. Monster Mile, what they call that for a reason. You just saw there within those like last 10 laps. That was just a bunch of chaos right there. Cars slamming into each other. But new leader Ace Garcia, and he's trying to keep that streak alive of Atlanta and Dover. So we'll see.
He's got a good chance of that. And I think that pretty much confirms that strategy is not going to work for Durrani, Stapleton, Cemento, I already mentioned Stapleton. Who was the other guy? Troxel. All those guys who came down under that, like, 10 laps into the race. None of them are going to be at the advantage at this point. They needed a caution to come out while they were on the lead lap in order for that strategy to work. And it's not going to be the case as they're going to go back a few laps down. Tristan Allen's been trying to hold these guys behind him off. Eli Bright there in the 33 machine is a lap down. Same with Christopher Alphaby. He's not going to be able to do it here. Or actually, he will. He's going to keep those guys behind him. But essentially, at this point, only unless some really weird strategy happens late in the race, this is going to be a race between Ace Garcia and Ben Young. But, you know, Tristan's still got a shot at this one. I think McMillan arguably still has a chance as well. Thompson, Turner, Brandon Nelson, not too far behind. 12 seconds off now is Alex in a row. Trey Smith is inside the top 10, and Cody Sill inside the top 10. Great run for those guys, as I think the yellow... Is the yellow out? It is. So that's going to bunch these guys right back up.
Well, no more pit strategy.
And the yellow has just come out because Garcia actually crossed the line.
Yeah, so...
But Ace Garcia easily going to win the race back because he was the only one to cross the line. I think someone got spun around in turn 1. Looks like it was a minor incident. But now... that's going to bunch the field up. So, I mean, for Ben Young, it's really not going to affect him too much. Now, if I'm these guys, you got to come down right here. That's... I don't think you want to risk having to come down right at the end of the race. And with how the tire wear is at this track, definitely the smart decision to come down. Garcia going to lead them down the pit lane, I believe. Waiting for Ben Young to catch up to him. But this is the money stop right here. Tristan Allen are going to come down as well. And the rest of the field on the lead lap will. So with that, with all these guys coming down, they're going to be bunched right back up on each other for this restart. They will be able to make it to the end of the race right here as well. So that whole fuel mileage strategy, that's out the window now. It's going to be a mano-a-mano battle between all these guys for this race win here at Dover. This is shaping up to be a great race, guys. Ace Garcia, Ben Young down the pit lane. I imagine it's going to be a 4-tire stop for all these guys because you do not want to be left out there with worn tires. We saw how that played out for Troxel and Sameto and Stapleton and Durrani. It did not work at all for those guys. And it's going to be a 4-tire stop for all of these guys on the lead lap here at Dover. Garcia going to be the first one off, then Ben Young right there as well. Tristan Allen going to be third off the pit lane, and then McMillan fourth. And it's going to be close. Thompson going to beat Turner there for the 5th position. But now all these guys going to be right on each other, and they're all going to have a shot at this race victory here at Dover.
My goodness. This is going to be a crazy restart here. See a little bit of a jam up here, but this is going to be wild right here because everybody knows they're good to the end. They're going to be going all in on this restart, and you're going to see probably some aggressive moves for sure. Absolutely.
And not only that, we had a lot of guys who I think were caught on the tail end. I don't know if they were caught on the tail end, but I think they were just a lap down, and they ended up kind of getting a bit of a wave around there. Let's see here. Quite a few guys actually kind of on the tail end, which is kind of interesting. See, how many guys do we have kind of going back there? Still cycling through there. So we have 27 guys who are officially on the lead lap, and then we have, starting with Eli Bright, we got quite a few guys who are just simply a lap down, and I think one of those guys is Matt Dalio, and I'm a little bit intrigued to see what happened to Dalio. I don't even see him on the leaderboard, which is very weird. Only unless he stayed. You know what?
Stayed out.
He stayed out. That's what happened. I didn't pay attention to the leaderboard. Ethan Lewis stayed out. Then Nathan Baird, Matt Dalio, Joe Rutkowski. Ace Garcia is 8th. Oh boy. Now here's the thing. These guys, they're not going to be able to win this race. Those guys with the fresh tires are going to have the advantage. They might be looking for a quick caution, though. And I just don't know if it's going to play out. But Ethan Lewis is now the race leader. My apologies for not reading the leaderboard there. I'm like, why are these guys on the tail end of the lead lap? They were running up front. So it's Ethan Lewis, Nathan Baird, Matt Dalio, Joe Rutkowski, Zachary Fitzwater, Troxel's lap down, Nathan Smith, Sebastian Kukulon, and then the first guy off the pit lane with 4 fresh tires is Ace Garcia in the 81 machine. This is going to be an interesting restart, but first let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the second caution of the day here in the Mr. Goodbar 400 at Dover. It is not every day you see a single car incident, just a complete single car incident, here at an oval to bring out a caution. Brad Stover actually, I think, blew a tire into turn number 1. I think you can definitely tell these guys going around him. And that thing just goes right around. They've got a bit of a tap there from Sam Adio, but that is why we're under caution here for the second time today. And that is going to really change the strategy of this race. Because we have some guys who stayed out, like Ethan Lewis and those guys. But you got those guys who took 4 fresh tires that are really going to be at the advantage. There's really no way those guys who stayed out are going to be able to win this race. Going to be interesting to see how it all goes on the restart. But that's what happened to Brad Stover right there. Just went around, so no need to replay it again. That was probably the most anticlimactic caution we've had all season. Back here at the Monster Mile. And oh boy, what a monster race it's going to be here to the finish. Going to be 21 laps to go in the Mr. Goodbar 400. 8 drivers, or should I say 7 drivers, excuse me, stayed out under that caution. They got worn tires. They're going to try to stretch it on fuel. I don't believe they're going to be able to do it. Been a lot of interesting strategy in this race that have not played out for guys. But Ethan Lewis, Nathan Baird, Matt Dalio, Joe Rutkowski, Zachary Fitzwater, Nathan Smith, and Sebastian Kukulon all stayed out. Troxel, Oskin, Downey, and Stover all a lap down. And then Ace Garcia, the first guy with fresh tires. Ben Young, Tristan Allen, Daniel McMillan, Keegan Thompson, all those guys on fresh tires. But here we go. Race leaders Ethan Lewis, Stapleton almost blocking him. Dalio going to go to second. But back in here, this is what you want to watch out for. Ace Garcia got stuck on the outside of Sam and Oskim. And Ben Young's going to drive away from these guys. Allen's getting held up by the 71. Ooh. And Turner's getting held up as well. McMillan's getting around Garcia. Oh, we got to watch out for this. They could wreck here if they're not careful. And there goes Tristan Allen's race. Such a tough break for Tristan. Had such a good run going. He's going to lose a ton of ground after getting stuck behind Sam and Oscar right there. Now Brandon Nelson getting stuck behind the 71. And they're cutting it close back in here, but I think they're going to be okay. Back to the race lead. It is Ethan Lewis who is pulling away here. But Ben Young is coming with Daniel McMillan in the 79. All 3 of these guys, all these guys on the inside lane with fresh tires, and they are going to be coming fast on this field.
Yeah, again, of course, you know, Ethan is going to have to pit, so right now, technically, the leader would be Ben Young once all this cycles out, but I was just so shocked to see.
Oh, here comes, oh boy! They're jammed up. They are just stacked right behind these guys on worn tires now. And now McMillan's going to have his opportunity right there.
Here it comes. And Garcia with him.
And Ace Garcia as well. First, we mentioned that streak, but they're stuck behind the slow car of Fitzwater. Yep. He's on worn tires, and Ben Young going to get around the outside there. Ben Young holding on to the race for what will be the race lead once all these guys cycle through. Now McMillan going to try here, and Alexander Rowe on Ace Garcia. McMillan's still stuck behind Fitzwater there. Now Garcia going to get shuffled out of line.
Oh, well, that high line can prove worthy if you can get the power down, but man, that's going to hurt Ace Garcia right there. And see Ben Young, I'm telling you, Ben Young, my pick, he might get it done. I might not jinx somebody for once.
McMillan's gotten around both of those guys. Now Alexander Rowe and Andrew Miller have fallen in line as well. Garcia's chance of winning this race is probably going to end right there. So that's 2 guys who were up front. Actually, Allen's kind of coming back in the 95. Now they're jammed up again on Joe Rutkowski, and they got 2 guys until they get to the race lead. Ethan Lewis and Matt Dalio. Dalio is McMillan's teammate. Will he help his teammate possibly get around this 5 machine?
He will. He will.
Ooh, it's possible. Matt Dalio already won a race this season at Phoenix. Oh, McMillan going to get shuffled out of line right there. Alexander Rowe going to get advantage and around. Joe Rutkowski and Brandon Nelson.
2 cars.
And that's going to stack at the field. Ace Garcia, Fitzwater, Sam Adio, Kukulon, and Nathan Smith. Logan Williams and Joe Rutkowski as well. Oh, brother.
Heard that a lot tonight, man. Dang.
And so I don't know where on earth the 5 went. Alexander, I don't know, he may have had another incident. Ben Young and Ethan Lewis. Ben Young and Ethan Lewis got caught up as well in something. And now the race leader is Alexander Rowe in the number 25. Unreal. And you know, the big problem, and this is kind of because of the I&I change that we have. The tire wear is so significant that those guys on more tires, they're just so much slower, jamming the field up. But I think Ben Young had caught up to Ethan Lewis, and he actually got into Ethan Lewis, and they wrecked as well while we were focusing on the first wreck. And now Ben Young. So the three guys who were the dominant guys in this race, Tristan Allen. Actually, Tristan Allen's still out there. Allen's 8th. Of all the three guys, he's actually now in the best position because Ace Garcia's junk now. Garcia's shot at winning this race is over. And then Ben Young, he's still out there, but he lost all of that track position. He's fallen back to 18th as he got caught up with Ethan Lewis. Those guys on those worn tires just so much slower. The closing rate just too much. And now the season 6 winner of this race, Alexander Rowe, in position to possibly win this race. Andrew Miller is 2nd. Daniel McMillan is 3rd. Dalio is 4th, but remember, he is on worn tires. Brett Sierra, Baby Ruiz, the Uncharted guy, Mason Brown, Tristan Allen, Fisher G, and Cody Sill, the top 10. Unreal.
Wow.
Just like last year.
Well, the Atlanta Dover streak is officially ended. But,
it has, unfortunately, for Ace Garcia. He had such a good race, too, in that number 81 machine, but got caught on that outside lane trying to get around the lap traffic and then got caught up in the wreck because of the... Well, actually, it wasn't because of lap traffic. Brandon Nelson and Joe Rutkowski were both in the lead lap. Rutkowski was on worn tires, and Nelson had the run on him, but that was the end of that for both of those drivers.
Yep.
I tell you what. Miles was really hungry today. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the 3rd caution and also see what happened between Ben Young and Ethan Lewis as well. So much shaken out here at Dover, and now Alexander Rowe looking for his first win in over a year here in the NOFSRL Cup Series. And we got a lot to review on this one. Rutkowski cut down on Brandon Nelson. Nelson had the run, Nelson had the fresher tires, and Rutkowski cut down on him, and it's a self-cleaning racetrack. It's such a high-bank track that these guys, they slide back down. And let's see, who is it that hits this 47? I think it's Fitzy. Yep. Zachary Fitzwater, Ace Garcia, then Brandon Nelson is down there as well. Garcia, Sam Adio, Garlington, Downey, Trey Smith in the middle of all that. Logan Williams, Kukulon, and Nathan Smith come in. It wasn't actually as big of a wreck as some of the other ones we've seen here before. It's still way smaller than the wreck we had here last year. But Kukulon there with a lot of damage. He's not going to go 2 in a row. And then I don't know what happens. It may have already happened at this point. But yeah, oh, right there, you see it. Yeah. Ben Young and Ethan Lewis battling for the race lead got caught up in an accident. And that allowed Alexander Rowe to take the race lead away. Unbelievable. They threw everything at Ben Young, and they finally got him. Such a tough break there for the number 5 machine. And Alonso ended up tapping him right there. He went spinning. And I think that was it in terms of those guys who were involved in that one. Ben Young and Ethan Lewis will still be able to continue, but they're going to fall way back after losing all that track position there.
So you can see coming down the front straightaway, Rutkowski, they're going into 1, and the 18 just sends it in there. I mean, that was a full-on dive bomb, and Fitzwater just nowhere to go. And you can see that was a big hit by Fitzy. And then we're coming up to the leaders here, and Ben Young just turns Ethan Lewis. I don't know what happened there, but that was.
I think the speed differential, I think, is what did it, because Ethan Lewis was on those worn tires, going about 2 seconds a lap slower. Ben Young just got into the corner a little too hard. We're going to actually focus on these guys and replay it one more time. And this is what happened. They're racing back to the line. And Ethan Lewis has to break into the corner much earlier than Ben Young does, and Ben Young was not anticipating it and just got into him. That's partly on Ben Young for being a little bit too close to Ethan Lewis. He should have actually peeked down to the inside of him before they entered the corner. That's going to cost him the win, and we now have Alexander Rowe leading with Daniel McMillan. Andrew Miller is 2nd. I think one of those three guys going to win this race. Should be a fun one here at Dover, but it's all turned over on its head now. The dominant guys are out of this race, except for Tristan Allen, but he's a little bit far back. See who gets this win here in the Mr. Goodbar 400 at Dover. Well, just like last year, this race has been turned over on its head. A lot of new faces up front. For the top three, all looking for their first win of the season. Matt Dale looking for his second, but there's no chance he's going to win this race. He's probably going to have to come down the pit lane before the end. But you have Alexander Rowe leading, Andrew Miller, Daniel McMillan, the top three. Matt Dalio is fourth, Brett Sierra, BB Ruiz, Mason Brown, Tristan Allen, Fisher G, Appleby a lap down, Cody Sill in 10th. I think it's going to be one of the top three who wins this race, though. 9 laps to go here at Dover. No slow cars in front of the top three. Let's see how it all goes down here with 9 to go in the Mr. Goodbar 400. Oh, and a good jump there for Andrew Miller. They're going to get around Dahlia right here. Got to be careful not to wreck him. We don't want another caution in this race, but everyone behind Dallio, none of those guys going to have a shot. Andrew Miller all on the back bumper of Alexander Rowe for this race lead.
Man, Andrew Miller is right there, and you can see also waiting back there Daniel McMillan, and he wants these two to potentially get together and take
Miller did not have a good corner at all right there.
No, he did not. That was a really bad corner by Andrew Miller. So
now Daniel McMillan trying to close in. The fact that all these guys are essentially on the same set of tires, though, that means that there's really not much of an advantage to be gained on each other, and it's difficult to make a pass here, even with the I&I change. Alexander Rowe is pulling away now. McMillan's going to try on Miller, but he cannot get around the 24, and that 25 is pulling away. I don't think we'll run into any lap cars before the end of this race. Here comes McMillan. He's trying on Miller, but it's just not enough. Not close enough at all for that 79.5 shot, but Miller closed back in on Alexander Rowe right there, and Rowe had a bit of a tough lap. Oh, man, it's still not over yet, but I just don't see them having a shot on Rowe. Miller's really driving it in deep through the corner, though.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed is Andrew Miller, he is, like, driving in really hard, closes in, but then just loses it all down the straightaways, allowing Daniel McMillan to pull to the back corner, but really nice corner right there by Andrew Miller.
Rowe's got a good exit. Miller's got a good entry. Gonna be 4 laps to go next time by for Alexander Rowe and North State Racing. North State Racing has yet to win a race this season. Nearly every team, if North State Racing wins, nearly every team has gone the victory lane this season. The only team who has won multiple times has been American Motorsports. And Alexander Rowe really not been too much of a threat this season. Only 1 top 10 this season. Looking for his second and for his first win since last year at Phoenix. And Miller's coming down. Miller with an issue. He's coming down the pit lane. They did not put enough fuel in that car. And now Alexander Rowe has to worry about Daniel McMillan. But do they have to worry about having enough fuel? Miller's down and someone else, it's Nathan Baird who were down the pit lane. It would make no sense at all for them to come down the pit lane because they are obviously still going just as fast as everybody else. But Miller must not have gotten enough fuel in the tank. He's going to go a lap down. And only unless something drastic happens in this last lap and a half, Alexander Rowe is going to scoot away with this shock win here at Dover.
One thing I've noticed is Daniel McMillan, the second, has been trying different lines. Tried the bottom, even tried the top one time. So McMillan's doing anything he can. It's just, unless something happens on this last lap, he's not going to get it done.
Alexander Rowe takes the white flag here at Dover, looking for a second Dover win in the NOFSRL Cup Series. Nobody ahead of him. And this win is going to go to the Season 9 Daytona 500 champion, his 7th career win in the NOFSRL Cup Series. Alexander Rowe wins the Mr. Goodbar 400 at Dover. McMillan, Sierra, Mason Brown, Cody Sill, Jesse Turner, Owen Miles, Patrick Smith, Shane Lake, and BB Ruiz, the top 10. Don't ask me how all that happened. But here we are, with Alexander Rowe, your race winner here at the Dover International Speedway.
I don't know what to say right now. Just That was insane. I was not expecting Alexander Rowe to win that, but still, just a crazy, crazy race there at the end. But congrats to Alexander Rowe. I know that's a big win for that team. You know, the first win of the season, so that's obviously gonna help them out this season. But yeah, that was a great race in my opinion.
That was, and you know, you guys saw what happened between Ben Young and Ethan Lewis, and if that didn't happen, Alexander Rowe probably would not have won this race. But how about that? I feel bad for Andrew Miller there. He still finished 19th, but they must not have gotten enough fuel packed in there. Matt Delia was actually able to make it to the end, surprisingly enough. The strategy was all over the place in this race, and that's what actually caused all of that to be an issue. Yeah, just a mess there, that last wreck, and hey, it's the Monster Mile. We had a similar race last year with all that stuff, and another one here today. It's a fun place, though. I mean, it's still a very legitimate race. You know, all those guys who finished up front kind of were running up front. McMillan, Alexander Rowe, Jesse Turner. But how about Alexander Rowe? I don't know where he started. Let me see. Where did he start for this race? He didn't start up front. He started, let me see here. Alexander Rowe started in the 31st position. He gained 30 positions to win this race. Unbelievable. Great job out of Alexander Rowe and that North State Racing team. They definitely found some speed. And, you know, we've only had the one team win multiple races in American Motorsports, but now 12 of the 15 teams have gone the victory lane this season. Let me see. The only ones who have not gone the victory lane yet this season are Velocistar Racing, which that team won 7 races last year, Angel Racing, and the other team, I believe, is NS Blackout. No, I'm wrong about that. Kinghart. It's Kinghart. But every other team has won a race this season. How about that? Very, very, very competitive season. Lots of parity. 13 winners in 13 races. Well, that's it until the Coke 600, because next week we have ourselves the Mellow Yellow All-Star Race from Charlotte. So I'm going to take a break from the points racing. We'll be back on Memorial Day weekend for the Coca-Cola 600, an 80-lap race again at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Hey, you're going to be at the real-life one. I'm going to be at the real-life one of this. You're going to be at the real-life one of that. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But final thoughts on this race, Chase. What an interesting day here at Dover.
I mean, how can you not say that race wasn't intense? I mean, it was intense. Sure, we had that long green flag run, but even that, we didn't know what the pit strategy would be. And so, overall, great race. Very interesting there at the end, and definitely a surprising winner as well.
Absolutely. Alexander Rowe got the benefit from that Ben Young, Ethan Lewis incident, and took it away from those guys. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. This was a fun race to do. And, hey, if you happen to be at Dover this weekend, I will be there. Just hit me up, and we can meet up if you'd like to. I'd definitely love to meet some of you guys. I would love to meet Chase, but he's not going there this weekend, which is unfortunate. But, hey, we'll meet up sometime. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Alexander Rowe, your race winner here at the Dover International Speedway. And we will see you guys next week for the Mellow Yellow All-Star Race from Charlotte. Alexander Rowe's going to be in that, but Daniel McMillan won't be. He's got to race his way in. If he had won this race, he would have been in, but he does not have an automatic vote in, or automatic spot into that All-Star race yet, so let's see what he can do in the Open next weekend. But hey, Indy 250 week starts next week. We've got Indy 250 qualifying next weekend. That's really the big show. And Indy 250 week is just around the corner now. That's the next thing in line here on AG Racing, my favorite week of the year for the NR stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun with the Haas IndyCar Series coming up here. Hey, this defending champion over here. Maybe I can convince him to drive. Maybe I can, just before the signups go up. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm done talking. Congratulations to Alexander Rowe. Here are the point standings for the NOFSRL Cup Series after 13 races. And on behalf of Chase Harris, I will see you guys later.